All right, we're back, you guys. My name's Jesse, and today we're going to try and install this NEMA 1450 RV receptacle. I plan to use it to charge an EV. I've never installed one of these, so we're going to give it a shot. It doesn't look too hard. Looks like we got our two hots that land here. Is the green one, and then our neutral sits right here. So 4 wires, doesn't look too bad. This is kind of the box it came in, and this just kind of slides in here. Gets a little screw here, and then there's a plate that was on here with 4 little screws. I just took it out. But my plan is to mount this kind of right next to the sub panel, and we'll punch a little hole here. This is where our wire will go through, and then we'll wire everything up, tighten it down, and then we'll push it back in here. This is our sub panel, and we're going to try and mount our little box right here somewhere. There we go, something like that. See if I can zoom in here a little bit. All right, I've already disconnected the power here, so everything should be dead. Nothing, no power. So we have a 30 amp double pole here that this is what we're gonna use to tap into to supply power to the 50 amp NEMA 1450 receptacle. So we're gonna run our hots out of here. We're gonna punch them out of this little hole right here, and then we'll land our neutral and our ground over here. It's a little weird here because this is a sub panel, and they landed the neutrals and the grounds on the same kind of bus bar right here. Usually in a sub panel you keep them separate, so we'll see if we can separate them. All right, this is another bus bar I had from another sub panel that I had extra of. So we're just gonna place that screw in there and see if we can separate the neutrals and the grounds here. All right, here's our other bus bar. We'll put the grounds on this one. We'll leave the neutrals right there. All right, this is a little close-up of what we ended up doing. So we just kept all the neutrals on one bus bar, and we kept all the grounds on the other bus bar. All I've done so far is just attach that ground wire to the back of the panel. And then I think what we're gonna do is just punch a hole here, and we'll see if we can get it to line up somewhere right there. I'm not gonna be able to butt it up against here because this panel, this panel goes over this, and if I butt it up super close, the panel's not gonna fit. So we'll leave about a 1/4 inch gap, no big deal. Okay, since I'm gonna leave a little gap here so that cover can fit there, I'm actually gonna this is just like some scrap wood I had laying around. I don't know, this is probably like close to 1/2 inch maybe. And I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it real quick. pretty good right there. And then I'm just gonna mark them here. This is our hole, the top one. And the bottom ones are right here. All right, this is a 5 30-second drill bit, masonry drill bit. All right, now we're gonna just pop out a hole for our wires. There we go. All right, we'll do the same on this one. There we go. I have these rubber bushings. See if I can throw them in here. Just so the wire's not rubbing against the box. And then we'll throw another one on the other box. They actually sell, it's like a little plastic kind of screw that kind of screws in here, and it's made just for that, but I just don't have them, so we'll just make that one work. Try and mount this next. Start it by hand a little bit. All right, that looks good. All right, do a quick test here before we go any further. All right, there we go. It's kind of the little gap that I left there, but I needed to leave just a little gap so that the panel would close, and it closes just fine. All right, I don't have green number 10. I just have black number 10, but what I'm gonna end up doing is just taping it so that way it's at least color coded. And then this spade connector here, I am gonna use this to ground. Alright, so we'll send this one through our little hole. Of course, it's way more than I needed. And this one will land right here. Okay, so this will go to our ground bar up here, our ground bus bar, and this is what will actually connect to the NEMA 1450. So about this up here. All right, this is the wire that we just ran. We'll wrap it up here. I'm gonna land it in the All right, so I could use number 10 because this is a 30 amp double pole, but I have some number 8 laying around for the hots and the neutral, so that's what we're gonna use. This time I'm not gonna send more than I have to. Pretty good. Pretty good. And one more. All right, those are 2 hots. I think they're on. Last thing we're on is neutral. All right. All right, just gonna do the same thing with this number 8. I'm gonna run our neutral through. All right, neutrals are good. My hots are good. Now it's time to look at the NEMA 1450. All right, this is the last step here. Our 2 hots will drop here, ground and neutral. So set these up. All right. Okay, looks pretty good. I wasn't sure if I stripped enough wire, but I stripped plenty. All right, we're gonna run these down literally as tight as we can. Alright, this is the main electrical panel. This is our 30 amp double pole that's in the garage. We'll flip it on. Eventually I'm going to move this 30 amp double pole into the critical loads panel where the 12,000 XP powers, but for now I'm just going to see if it works. Power's on. We should have no power here. Nothing. We should have some power here. $240 across both of the hots. 120 on that leg and 120 there. All right, so we'll turn this breaker on. Now we'll do the same thing. So we got 240 on the hots, 120 on each leg. All right. Put our cover back on. Should fit. Alright, our NEMA 1450 is good to go. Let's throw the charger, throw the Tesla charger, see if we can get some faster charging speed. I forgot, this cover goes on top. So let's throw it on here real quick. Alright, so this is good for 30 amps. If I were to swap the breaker out for a 40 amp double pole, I could probably get the charging speed up to 40 amps, but 30 amps is fine for what I need it for. I'll probably just put a label here saying, 30 amp max, because that's as much as I can draw out of there. But let's test it out. Alright, this is an extension for the EV charger that I got. It just won't reach all the way to the car, but this is rated for 50 amps. And if you wanted this to charge at 50 amps, the process would be the same. You would just need 6 gauge wire. I just didn't have 6 gauge, I had 8 gauge. And I'm never gonna run at 50 amps anyway, so this will work for me. You really gotta push that in there. All right, so this is kind of what I've been charging. It's just the regular 110 portion. But if you take this off, there's a NEMA 1450 adapter, and it lets you charge, I think, up to 50 amps. I'm not sure, but I'm not charging that much anyway, so there we go. We'll hook this up. And there we go. All right, moment of truth. We're gonna try and charge here. So normally, when I would plug the car in, the max it would let me charge is, I think, 12 amps. But somehow it already recognizes that there's a lot more power, because it never used to say 48 amps. So usually I'd have to charge like at 6 or 7 amps, but let's see what happens. See what we get. Alright, it's automatically charging at 32 amps, but I don't want to charge it that fast. Let's see how low it lets you go. 15 amp, or 5 amps. And it even says here, it used to say 112, like 115 volts here. Now it's reading 240. So that's cool. Looks like it works. 16 miles per hour. It used to be like 3 miles an hour. Now we got 16. Nice. I think that's probably where I'm going to keep it. Maybe, let's see what 20 amps does. So 20 amps does 20 miles an hour. I'm going to keep it at 16 amps for now. Alright, you guys, that's going to wrap this one up. Catch you guys on the next one.